everyone, welcome back. An indoor video today because the weather outside has been absolutely miserable. My last video was weeks and weeks ago and it was a Whodunit-a-thon TBR for October. And I had grand intentions of doing a wrap-up for Whodunit-a-thon, and I had grand intentions of doing a TBR for November for the musical-a-thon, which I was doing again. And then I was going to do a wrap-up video for both of those tonight, and I sat down and I was like, some of those books I read like more than a month ago and I don't really remember much about them and I don't really want to talk about them, and November has been an awful reading month. I have finished 2 books and DNF'd at least 3, and I'm thinking of DNFing a 4th one. Reading lumps suck. Hey. So instead of doing any of that, I am going to just make a fresh start with a TBR video for December. I will be participating in the Cozathon, which I'm really looking forward to. It's a little bit Christmassy and it's all about sort of looking after yourself and being cozy, and I really like the sound of that. And I think the reason I'm in a reading slump this month is because the month has sucked. So I'm really looking forward to starting for, I know that like the first of the month is like such an arbitrary thing, but like I really like firsts of the month and things like that as fresh starts. And that's what I'm hoping this will be. So that's what I'm going to do. So here is the full list of prompts. I'm not going to be using them all. I'm going to be doubling up on a few. I've decided to just commit to 6 books. That's all I think I'll manage. And some of them are a bit big. So let's get started. I'm going to go by book and then talk about which prompts it's filling rather than go through the prompts because, as I said, I'm doubling up on a few. So from the top of my pile, we have Of Curses and Kisses by Sandhya Menon. I just randomly picked this up at the library the other week, but I will be reading it for the favourite trope prompt. This actually has 2 of my favourite tropes, because it is enemies to lovers, which I always enjoy. It's a fairy tale retelling, again, really enjoy, and it is also a royal romance. This character, whose name is Jaya, she is a princess. And this guy is like, he's a commoner, but like a rich jerk commoner. And then they fall in love. So I'm hoping that this will be a fun, enjoyable rendition of all those tropes, and that it will be lighthearted and, you know, what I'm needing right now on the reading front. The next book on my list is another one that I just randomly picked up at the library because I saw the title and I was so intrigued I had to get it out. And I've had it since October, but I have been deliberately renewing it and saving it till Christmas. And this is Mrs. Claus and the Santaland Slayings by Liz Island. And so the plot is that this character, what's her name? April has fallen in love and gotten married to a guy called Nick, who it then transpires is the actual Santa Claus. So off she goes to the North Pole to start her new life as Mrs. Claus. But then an elf ends up dead just after he was seen arguing with Nick. Oh no, Christmas is cancelled. So April has to solve the murder, or, you know, or Santa's going to jail. Like, I'll be even happy if this is like a so bad it's good kind of thing. There is also a sequel called Mrs. Claus and the Halloween Homicides. So if this one is good, there's more to come. So this one will be covering 2 prompts for Cozathon. It will be covering the short book prompt because it is under 300 pages, and a seasonal book because you can't get much more seasonal than Mrs. Claus and Santa and elves and the North Pole. The next book I am reading for the prompt TBR Veteran, and it is No Limits by Ellie Marney, which has been on my TBR for a lot of this year. Many of the readathons I do, I put this on here. Haven't gotten to it. I might even pack this one when I go home to my parents at Christmas so that I have no choice and I have to get to it. It's Ellie Marney. I know I'll probably like it, so I should just hurry up and read it. After that, I'm going to read Charles Dickens's A Christmas Carol, which I read most years at this time. One of the prompts is to reread an old favourite. So that's what I'll be doing with this one. I often have listened to it read by Patrick Stewart, but I seem to have lost my recording of that. So I'm going to have to track that down again. And in the meantime, I will just read it. And last but not least, I picked this one up at the library as well. It's a Doctor Who anthology called The Wintertime Paradox, 12 Festive Tales of Tinsel and Time Lords. So this one is going to be my 5-star prediction read. It is also going to be my anticipated read, and it is going to be my book with illustrations, because if I can find one for you, at the start of each story there's these cool like lino print style images that are beautiful. It doesn't say anywhere who the illustrator is. I will have to track that info down for you, and hopefully I'll have a wrap-up video and I can tell you then. I did say this is my last book, but it's not. My last book is Wintersmith by Terry Pratchett, which I do own a copy of, but as I said, I literally sat down to do this video and then changed my mind about what I was going to do, and at that point I couldn't be bothered walking out to the bookshelf, which is in another room, which is where that book is. So, Wintersmith by Terry Pratchett, and this one will be fulfilling the prompt for winter colours on the cover, because it's nice and wintry, has snow and stuff. This is actually the third in the Tiffany Aching series. I haven't read the other two, but I'm sort of just hoping that in the fashion of Discworld novels that it won't really matter, and that I'll be able to figure it out as I go along. So those are the 6 books that I plan to read in December. If I don't see you beforehand, Merry Christmas if you celebrate that sort of thing, and I'll see you next time. Bye.